Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So lots to negotiate on this video today, but the first topic of the development I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Adrian Rabiot. Now, I haven't spoken to you guys about Adrian Rabiot in quite a while, but I have been reading recent reports up about him. Now it's looking very imminent. He's going to be making the move to Juventus, and I think he's set to agree a move to Juventus within the next 24 hours. So I think his move to Juventus, should be fully completed today. But we do know that Adrian Rabiot, has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. We do know quite a few teams have inquired about his services. Obviously, Manchester United have obviously been in there for him. Obviously, Arsenal had inquired about his services. I think it came out the other week saying that Everton had also been in for him. But according to Damasio, who's an Italian journalist who's very reliable, especially in relation to Manchester United, and when it does come to transfers, he's basically said that Adrian Rabiot has turned down an offer from Manchester United, and he reportedly reflected out last week saying that Manchester United had offered him a lucrative contract, and we was willing to offer him a higher salary. But reportedly, Adrian Rabiot, from his own perspective, is keen on the move to Juventus, and obviously wants to go to a club that can offer him Champions League football, and obviously Manchester United can't offer Adrian Rabiot Champions League football and all that. But we do know Adrian Rabiot is a free agent at the end of this month. He is a free agent at the end of this month and all that. But I think he's set to agree a new long-term contract, with Juventus. But basically, Adrian Rabiot has spent the majority of his career with PSG. Obviously, I think he broke into their first team in 2012, and in total, I think he's been at PSG about 8 years. So he has been a long servant, to Paris Saint-Germain. I think he's made about 227 appearances for them in all competitions. He's won about 5 League One titles. But Adrian Rabiot has not played a single game for PSG this year. Obviously, he had been withdrawn from the PSG squad last year by Thomas Tuchel, based on his refusal to sign a new contract and all that. But like I said, quite a few teams had inquired about his services. But it got reported out the other couple of weeks ago, that Adrian Rabiot, had held talks with Juventus and all that. But I think he's keen on making the move to Juventus, because obviously it's going to rejuvenate his career. It's going to take his footballing career to the next level and all that. But like I said, Juventus are doing really, really well. They've already got Aaron Ramsey on the board. Obviously, it's looking like they're going to be getting Adrian Rabiot now. Obviously, it's looking like they're going to get Matthijs de Ligt from Ajax and all that. So Juventus are doing really, really well. I think Tanguy and Ndombele is also on their agenda. Paul Pogba, of course, is on their agenda and all that. Obviously, they did get Cristiano Ronaldo last summer. But yeah, I did say we'd made an offer from Adrian Rabiot, but reportedly he has currently turned this down. I think also Liverpool had inquired about his services. He is only 24 years of age, and I think he's actually primarily a central midfielder. But obviously, we definitely know we need new midfielders, because that's one of the areas where Manchester United do need to strengthen up. Obviously, we need a replacement for Paul Pogba. We need a replacement for Fernando Herrera. Obviously, Fellaini left back in January, so we've got to address that midfield area and all that. But Adrian Rabiot wasn't one of our priority targets, I don't think, but he was on Manchester United's agenda and all that. But a lot of people have got reservations about him anyway. He hasn't got a good attitude. Adrian Rabiot, I think his agent, actually, acts like his mother. His current agent. But yeah, he's looking like he's going to be making the move to Juventus. So we have basically missed out on him. So that should be that his move to Juventus, I think will be fully agreed today. Obviously, it's looking like I said, Juventus are also going to get Matthijs de Ligt. That's looking like that's currently going to happen. Obviously, that came from Sky Italy the other day. Sky Sports reported on it, saying that Matthijs de Ligt has made a decision on his future, and he's decided to make the move to Juventus as Matthijs de Ligt. But like I said, he's been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window. So many teams have inquired about his services, but it did get reported out saying that Juventus are prepared to get him for around £62 million. I think Juventus have offered him a 5-year deal. I think Matthijs de Ligt's agent Rabiot has been in talks with Juventus over getting the deal finalised, and I think actually Rabiot has asked Juventus to make Matthijs de Ligt their second highest paid player, behind Cristiano Ronaldo. But I think Matthijs de Ligt's agent Rabiot is demanding around a 10.3 million fee at least, so he can make his move to Juventus and all that. But we do know that PSG have actually been considered as one of the favourites of getting Matthijs de Ligt, because obviously it came out, was it the other week, saying that PSG had offered him a 5-year contract worth around £340,000 a week. Got confirmed a couple of weeks ago that Paris Saint-Germain director had been in negotiation with Matthijs de its agent Rabiot over getting a deal fully finalised and all that. So PSG, were considered as one of the favourites. Also Barcelona, were considered as one of the favourites and all that. But Barcelona had been the favourites at least in the last couple of months. But I think the main factor reason why Barcelona ended their interest in Matthijs de Ligt, because obviously they couldn't come to an agreement on the terms, because Barcelona weren't willing to meet what de Ligt was demanding. They also wasn't willing to meet what his agent Rabiot was demanding. Even though a lot of reports were speculating out saying that his transfer to Barcelona is a done deal and all that. Obviously the fee had been agreed, but obviously they couldn't come to an agreement on the terms. But yeah, Barcelona had been the favourites at least in the last couple of months, because obviously Barcelona have already got a deal over the line for his current teammate Frankie de Jong, who of course Barcelona paid £65 million for. Obviously it did say we was in there, and again we've missed out on Matthijs de Ligt, because I think Matthijs de Ligt again wants to join a club that's got a Champions League football and all that. Obviously Manchester United haven't got this, and like I said, it's going to be hard for us to get our number one targets, and it's going to be hard for us to attract players to the elite level, because we're not in a Champions League football for next season. But yeah, it did say we'd offered Matthijs de Ligt around a £350,000 a week contract. Obviously that equates to almost £17 million a year, and obviously if that would have processed, that would make him the highest paid teenager in world football, also make him one of the highest paid players at Manchester United and all that. But we do know Matthijs de Ligt is a central defender, and obviously we do need to address our defensive deficiencies, because we have got issues defensively. That was proven last season, because we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season, and that was in 38 Premier League games, and that's our highest total in 40 years. So potentially, like I said, we need to see vast improvement going on into this season. This is why we've got to get the right players in that can elevate Manchester United forward, because last season we finished 6th. We didn't win many silverware in a row, but we've got to get the right players in this summer to Manchester United, who are going to obviously elevate us forward and all that. So like I said, we're not going to get Matthijs de Ligt on the the board, but obviously we want to get someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. It also said that Liverpool had inquired about Matthijs de Ligt's services. Obviously the main factor reason why Liverpool would in for him, because obviously Liverpool have got Virgil van Dijk, and Liverpool were orchestrating on putting Matthijs de Ligt alongside Virgil van Dijk in our back line, because obviously they've got a good relationship. They know each other really, really well, and of course they are both Dutch and all that. Also Manchester City were in for him at one point. Bayern Munich were in for him, but obviously Bayern Munich adopted him out of the race and all that. But I like Matthijs de Ligt a lot. He's only 19 years of age. At one point he was one of our main priority targets, and he would have fitted Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recommend he wants to develop a squad of young, hungry, homegrown talents and all that. And I think this summer we actually are moving away the policy of signing them well established players. But obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is planning to build an ambitious squad going on into next season and all that, to obviously get us back to being a competitive elite level football club. But I think also Matthijs de Ligt wants to go to a team that's going to obviously show him first team football. But Matthijs de Ligt so far has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. Obviously he's been an Ajax player since the age of 8, the age of 9. Obviously progressing the ranks with them fantastically well. I think he's made his senior debut at the age of 17. Obviously got named captain at the age of 18. He's also the only defender as well to win the Golden Boy award. And I think he's made about 117 senior appearances for Ajax since he did make his senior debut and all that. And obviously last season enjoyed a really good season there with Ajax. Won the domestic double with them. That was the first time Ajax won the domestic double in 17 years. Also progressed to the Champions League semi-final. Also won the Eredivisie title for the first time in 5 years. So Matthijs de Ligt can leave Ajax with his head held up high, and obviously him going to Juventus is going to rejuvenate his career, and he's going to take his footballing career to the next level and all that. We knew all along it was very imminent he was going to be leaving, but we didn't know for a long time where he would have been playing his trade next season. But now we do know it's looking likely it's going to be currently Juventus. So I do presume he's going to be made the second highest paid player at Juventus behind Cristiano Ronaldo. So probably should be on around 15 or 20 million euros a year to make him the second highest paid player behind Cristiano Ronaldo. But I think Matthijs de Ligt anyway, had been talking with Cristiano Ronaldo and all that. I think Ronaldo had asked him to come to Juventus or something like that. But yeah, that's another target Manchester United have missed out on. So that is very, very disappointing. But like I said, Juventus have got a budget. But yeah, Juventus have got so many players on their agenda, and they're having a really, really good window. If I'm going to be quite honest with you. But anyway, so it's looking like Adrian Rabiot is going to be going to Juventus. So like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is looking to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. Obviously, he wants to full areas, where Manchester United, of course, are lacking. And like I said, now we've already got our first sign on the board, through Daniel James this summer. Obviously, our first signing under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Obviously, we paid 18 million pounds. And obviously, that's very cheap, compared to of what we paid, for the likes of Lukaku and Pogba in recent years. We paid 75 for Lukaku, with add-ons included, which did potentially rise to £90 million. We paid £89 million for Paul Pogba, obviously our most expensive sign. So Daniel James is a cheaper solution, but obviously I want to build on that and bring another 4 or 5 more players in. The good news is it's looking likely Wan-Bissaka is going to be coming to Manchester United. I think he's set to complete his medical sometime this week and all that. This is very good news. Obviously it's looking very imminent. He is going to be our second signing this summer. I think we are set to get him probably for around £55 million. Obviously, this will probably take Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's net spend up to around £70 million on 2 players. Like I said, Daniel James is already on the board. But a lot of reports were reflecting out last week, saying that we've only been given £100 million to spend this summer. I think it did provide a reason, because obviously, we're not in a Champions League football for next season. So when we do get the deal fully finalised for Wan-Bissaka, I think the club need to orchestrate on selling, before we can buy him again. Because he didn't actually say, after the Wan-Bissaka transfer is complete, we need, he said further spending, will be dependent on, money, raised by players, sales, and all that. But like I said, Wan-Bissaka set to complete his Manchester United medical, sometime this week, which is very good news. He already has agreed personal terms with Manchester United, and he's agreed a deal worth around £80,000 a week. So his salary in that has been, currently sorted out, and he's actually, informed Crystal Palace, that he does, want to join Manchester United this summer. I don't think an initial fee has yet come to an agreement, but a fee is closer to being agreed. Obviously, we've already had 2 bids turned down for Wan-Bissaka. I think he also mentioned during the course of the weekend, that we had that we'd put a 3rd bid in for Wan-Bissaka and all that. But obviously, we have been in more extensive talks with Crystal Palace. Obviously, the reports came out the other week. Duncan Castle. This stemmed from Duncan Castles, and he basically said, that Manchester United had agreed a world record fee with Crystal Palace for Wan-Bissaka of around £55 million. Obviously, this would make him the most expensive fullback in Premier League history, also making the British the most expensive British defender of all time and all that. But potentially, we've already had a couple of bids turned down. Obviously, the recent bid we had turned down for Wan-Bissaka, obviously, was 50 million. Obviously, we didn't offer 15 million up front. Obviously, it was 35 million up front with 15 million in add-ons, which had initially risen it to 50 million pounds. But obviously, Crystal Palace didn't like the structure of the offer. Crystal Palace had instantly turned this down, and obviously the first bid we had turned down was 48 million pounds. But essentially, Crystal Palace has said they want around 45 million up front, or maybe even 50 million pounds up front and all that. But yeah, this is what Crystal Palace want. And initially, Crystal Palace, value him around 60 million pounds. But I do like Wan-Bissaka a lot, like I currently said. So yeah, he's set to undergo his medical sometime this week. So his transfer to Manchester United, should be completed this week. I thought initially we may completed at the weekend, because it did initially say on Friday of last week, that we wanted his transfer to Manchester United, completed within the next 48 hours. Obviously, it got confirmed yesterday that Manchester United had met up with the Crystal Palace officials in London, to hold more talks and all that, over coming to an agreement on the deal. But yeah, we just now need to come to an agreement on the fee. I think we are set to pay an initial 42.5 million, but I think probably there is going to be add-ons included in the deal, which will potentially rise it to around 55 million pounds and all that. But I really like him a lot. He's only 21 years of age. I do believe his defensive capabilities are very good. Plus he's British, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talent to Manchester United this summer. Like I said, he is predominantly a right back so far. He has spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace. He has been a Crystal Palace player, since the age of 11, as Wan-Bissaka since the age of 11. Initially, when he was younger, he was an out-and-out winner, but as he was developing and all that, he got reverted as a fullback, due to his tenacity and all that. And obviously, broke into Crystal Palace's senior squad in February of last year, and obviously, last season established himself as a first-team regular. And reflecting on his performances last year, I think he won Palace's Player of the Year and all that. I think he's made about 40 odd senior appearances, for Crystal Palace. He's still got 3 years left on his contract and all that, but he has been on our agenda, for quite a while. But we have been negotiating a fee at least in the last 3 weeks now with Crystal Palace, but it's looking very imminent. He's going to be currently coming in. I thought it was initially 200 odd million pounds that we had to spend, but recent reports said last week that we've only got 100 million pounds to spend. But like I said, that's not enough to address the deficiencies in the squad. So us getting Wan-Bissaka, that means we've only got like 20 odd million pounds to spend on a central defender, a couple of additions in that midfield, the right wing and the strike, and obviously we're not going to be able to do that over 27 million pounds. Basically that is currently impossible. But I think Solskjaer's priorities after we do get the deal finalised for Wan-Bissaka is actually to get a centre back in, and of course get a midfielder in, and hopefully that midfielder of course is going to be Bruno Fernandes. But Wan-Bissaka, I think he'll be a great replacement for Antonio Valencia, because we do know that Antonio Valencia is leaving the club. Obviously he's served 10 years at Manchester United, so he's been a long-serving player here. Ashley Young, we definitely need I think he'll be a great upgrade to Ashley Young without a shadow of a doubt, because Ashley Young's past his sell-by date. He's nearly 34 years of age, and he's no longer got the ability to fulfill that right-back position, so too inconsistent now. And obviously I think Wan-Bissaka will be a great cover-up for Diego Dalot. Obviously Diego Dalot, we only got him last summer, but with Diego Dalot, he's too inexperienced at the moment, but he's the upcoming future and all that. So I'm really looking forward to Wan-Bissaka coming in. I think it will definitely happen, which is very, very good news. Want to give you the latest news about Bruno Fernandes from Sport in Lisbon now. Recent reports have said now, this is coming from the Metro, saying that Manchester United are reportedly not prepared to pay £70 million for Bruno Fernandes, but this is what Sport in Lisbon are currently demanding. From Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's basically from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's perspective, he's actually told Ed Woodward to speed up the move, to speed up the deal, to currently sign Bruno Fernandes. So basically Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants Bruno Fernandes on the board at the earliest opportunity, but he did initially say he demands Bruno Fernandes' arrival by the start of next month. So he wants Bruno Fernandes' transfer completed to Manchester United by July the 1st. But initially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said last month he wants the majority of our transfer business done at the beginning of next month. But I still believe that we are still considered as one of the favourites of getting a deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes. But reportedly we're not willing to pay up to £70 million for him. Obviously reports reflected out last week, saying that we'd met up with his agent, obviously, over discussing, Bruno Fernandes' potential move to Old Trafford. He also said that Tottenham had met up with his agent, because obviously I think it was on Wednesday of last week that Bruno Fernandes' agent had travelled to London, to hold negotiations with Tottenham and all that. And he did say, Tottenham had stepped up their interest in Bruno Fernandes. But I think we've basically said, we've notified Bruno Fernandes' camp and all that. We do need him a bit more time, because obviously we'll focus on getting the deal offline for Wan-Bissaka. Then we will, focus on, getting a deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes when we've, of course, completed the signing of Wan-Bissaka. But obviously, Tottenham want to do transfer activity this summer. Obviously, they haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows. Obviously, the last player Tottenham bought was Lucas Moura, back in 2018 and all that. And obviously, Mauricio Pochettino is going to want back in this summer. And I think he did say prior to the Champions League final, if he isn't back this summer, he has threatened to resign as Tottenham manager. But there has been quite a few players on Tottenham's agenda. Obviously, Christian Eriksen's linked to a move to Real Madrid, and obviously if Christian Eriksen leaves, obviously Tottenham are going to want a replacement for him. So they have been in there for Bruno Fernandes. I think Tottenham are also linked with Tanguy Ndombele. I think that's one of Tottenham's main priority targets. Also, they're in there for Giovanni Lo Celso from Real Betis and all that. But yeah, they have been in there for Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, it says Liverpool are still in for Bruno Fernandes now. I think reports reflected out last week saying that Liverpool had put a bid in for him of around 45 million euros. Obviously, this equates to around 40 million in pound sterling and all that. But obviously, this figure's probably going to be nowhere near enough, to convince Sport and Lisbon, to offload Bruno Fernandes. So also, Liverpool have been in there, but it has been, mainly Manchester United and Manchester City, that have been battling it out for for his services. Of course, obviously, it was looking likely at one point City were going to get a deal concluded for him and all that. But initially, it confirmed a couple of weeks ago that City have withdrawn their interest, and they have now pulled out of the race for Bruno Fernandes. And since City have pulled out, Liverpool have entered the race. Also, Tottenham, of course, have entered the race. But according to all of the Portuguese press, they basically said, we are still considered as the favourites, to currently get the player's signature, even though we're not willing to pay up to £70 million. He did say we was willing to put an opening offer in around £49 million for Bruno Fernandes. But I think it's very, very essential that we do get a deal over the line for him, because he's actually one of our main priority targets, and I think he would be, a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, because he is primarily an attacking midfielder. He is only 24 years of age, and I think Bruno Fernandes actually did say, was it last week or over the course of the weekend, he's attracted to the history and mystique of Manchester United, because obviously we have got a good history and all that. But I like Bruno Fernandes. He's only 24 years of age. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't really played to the highest level as yet. He's served a couple of seasons in Portugal with Sporting Lisbon and all that. He's done really, really well, and I do believe he can come and replicate this in the Premier League. And we need depth in our midfield. We need someone who can score goals in our midfield, and Bruno Fernandes, would be the right solution. I think he would rejuvenate the team and all that. And he's a really, really good player. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes spent the majority of his career in Italy, when he was younger, with the likes of Sampdoria. But underneath him, was it Novria as well, Bruno Fernandes. But he is under contract with Sporting Lisbon still until 2023. I think his initial release clause is around £86 million. But Bruno Fernandes did say he would talk to Sporting Lisbon about leaving. If a team come up with an offer, that he couldn't refuse them and all that. But yeah, there's quite a few teams battling out for his services. I think it also came out the other week saying that Atletico Madrid had entered the race for Bruno Fernandes. So I'm still very hopeful, that we can get a deal, fully finalised there for him. But one and Wan-Bissaka first, and then we'll concentrate on, getting a deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes. Now potentially, as I've been updating you on a regular basis about Paul Pogba, now we do know it's looking likely that Paul Pogba is going to be leaving Manchester United. Obviously he confirmed this the other week, did Paul Pogba. He had told reporters in Tokyo that that he's seeking for a new challenge. Obviously wants to rejuvenate his career and all that, and he did even publicly announce that he wants to leave Manchester United, and he even did say he was willing to even go out and strike to force a move away from Manchester United. Paul Pogba. We do know he's been relentlessly linked to a move away from Old Trafford. We do know the likes of Juventus and obviously Real Madrid have been battling out for his services. His likely destination for a long time has been Real Madrid, and obviously I think for a long time his first choice preference has been Real Madrid. But like I said, at least in the last couple of weeks he said Juventus are interested in re-signing him. He came out a couple of weeks ago saying that the Juventus director travelled to London to hold negotiations with Manchester United over the possibility of re-signing Paul Pogba. He also said Juventus have been in negotiations with his agent Rabiot and all that. But like I said, Juventus have got quite a lot of players on their agenda. Like I said earlier on the video, they're going to be getting Adrian Rabiot. Obviously looking like they're going to be getting De Ligt. So they wouldn't be able to afford Paul Pogba outright, I don't think. If Juventus were to get him, I think they'd probably have to offload one or at least two of their essential players to fund the move for Paul Pogba. But Juventus director was saying, he explained how much Juventus do love Paul Pogba and all that, because don't forget, he did have 4 good years in Turin, where with Juventus he exceeded expectation levels and all that, and he did really, really well. But he hasn't really replicated this form since he did make the return to Manchester United. Obviously we paid £89 million for him, our most expensive signing and all that. But I did mention a couple of players that Juventus could offer us. Obviously Paul Dybala was mentioned. Obviously Paul Dybala has been one of our targets, and I think we've been in for him for at least the last couple of months. We have been in for Paulo Dybala. It also did say they could offer us Douglas Costa as part of the deal. I think that came out last week from the media. But yeah, I still say if he leaves Manchester United, he probably will end up making the move to Real Madrid. Obviously it's one of Zinedine Zidane's main priority targets. Obviously so far this summer Real Madrid have got 5 players on the board. But basically now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, there's been a change of scenery, because Solskjaer confirmed last week he actually wants to sell Paul Pogba. The main factor reason why he wants to sell Paul Pogba, obviously to help us generate funds and obviously rebuild the squad and all that. And initially we indicated that it's not for sale Paul Pogba, but it did say we would probably accept a bid in the region of around £150 million, even though he hasn't really been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been when he came to Manchester United. You know, I still say he's worth around 140 or 150 million pounds, but of course, this is a figure that Real Madrid are reluctant to pay him and all that. So Real Madrid, from their perspective, are not keen on a straight cash payment. And he did basically say, you know, Real Madrid, you know, could offer, you know, Gareth Bale as part, as part of a transfer offer for Paul Pogba and all that, you know, to try and convince us, to lower our price tag, for the Pogba. But we have put a huge transfer fee on him. But like I said, you know, Paul Pogba, you know, said a while back, you know, at some point in his career, you know, he wants to play for Real Madrid. You know, he classified them as one of the biggest clubs in the world and all that. And he obviously, you know, he probably believes Pogba that he will flourish under Zinedine Zidane's guidance and all that. But Real Madrid, of course, you know, will not pay up to 150 million pounds for him. But I was reading reports last week, and you know, it was basically, you know, saying that we was preparing to offer him a long-term contract, you know, worth up to around £500,000 a week. You know, obviously, you know, to try and convince him to remain at the football club and all that. Obviously, Paul Pogba still got 2 years left on his current deal with an option to extend it by a further year. And obviously, you know, Paul Pogba is on about £290,000 a week. It also got mentioned that we are set to hand him some kind of loyalty bonus at the beginning of next month. That's what, obviously, you know, when he gets the payment. And I think, you know, I think that this is all worth almost around £4 million. You know, to be quite honest, we mentioned that in the Daily Record. I think sometime last week, but it reported out about 3 weeks ago, was it? You know, or it might have been 4 weeks ago now, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, was even willing to offer Paul Pogba the captaincy, you know, in a bid, you know, to convince him to remain the football club. But we do know Paul Pogba's agent Rabiot, at least in the last couple of months, has been in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club and all that. But like I said, he hasn't really been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been. It was initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, you know, to actually build a side around Paul Pogba. But I just can't see the point in us offering him a long-term contract, you know, worth 500 grand a week, you know, when he's not playing amongst good enough players at Manchester United. Like I said, a couple of main factors why he probably wants to leave the club, because he wants to be playing amongst better players, wants to obviously rejuvenate his career, wants to be in Champions League football, wants to be, you know, winning their silverware and all that, and challenging. He's obviously, you know, not experiencing this at Manchester United, so maybe they're the couple of main factors, you know, why he does want to leave the club and all that. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, knows how much of an imperative player, you know, Paul Pogba is, because initially they did build a great relationship up, you know, did Paul Pogba and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but recent reports did say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Paul Pogba's relationship, of course, is slowly fading. And, you know, Paul Pogba's still got a lot of years ahead of him. You know, he is 26 years of age and all that, so basically, you know, he is still in his prime. But basically, you know, reflecting back last year, you know, Paul Pogba was subject to a lot of transfer speculation, you know, obviously based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho and all that. Obviously, you know, Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho, of course, left Manchester United. And obviously, Paul Pogba with us has won the Europa League, the League Cup. Obviously, you know, that came in his second season there with Manchester United. But his stats were still impressive last season. I think he scored about, 16 goals and provided 11 assists in about 47 games in all competitions. I might be wrong about that, but I think it was something like that anywhere. But we mainly saw the glimpses. We've seen glimpses of Paul Pogba's best form. Like I said, we mainly saw it in that 3-month period. You know, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, was the interim manager. That's when we mainly, you know, saw the best of Paul Pogba. Like I said, we mainly saw the best of Pogba, you know, when Ander Herrera was playing. So that just emphasises how much of an impact, you know, Ander Herrera, you know, did currently make in that midfield. So I think we need to get rid of Paul Pogba, you know, get rid of Romelu Lukaku, because that's going to help us with our transition and all that. It's going to help us with our rebuilding process. And I think we can generate at least around maybe 190, maybe even 200 million pounds, you know, for for Lukaku and Paul Pogba's departure and all that. But yeah, but it's definitely very, very, you know, very, very essential that we do get a replacement for Paul Pogba. I think Bruno Fernandes definitely, you know, would be the good adequate replacement for him. Obviously, there's so many midfielders on our agenda. Obviously, you know, James Maddison from Leicester. Again, I think he'd be a fantastic replacement for Paul Pogba. You know, James Maddison is 22 years of age. Obviously, he's had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously, you know, his debut season was last season with Leicester. Last season with Leicester, he was involved in 14 goals was James Maddison. I think he also created more chances than any other player did, James Maddison, in the Premier League, that is. So his statistics are very, very impressive, like I currently said. He did reportedly say the other day that he's actually reportedly told his agent, James Maddison told his agent, you know, that he wants to meet up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, allegedly, because he said allegedly he's interested in a summer move to Manchester United and all that. But he did come out about 4 weeks ago about this story, you know, saying that, you know, we emerged, you know, James Maddison as a priority target. You know, he said we'd made initial contact and all that. He did say if Leicester were willing to offload him this summer, you know, they would want around £60 million for James Maddison. Madison. He is primarily an attacking midfielder. I think he's got 4 years left on his contract with Leicester. 4 years left on his contract with Leicester, and Leicester got him last summer, from Norwich for around, was it 20 million pounds. So if they were to get 60 million, obviously, Leicester, would, gain around £40 million profit. I think quite a few teams have been tracking him, since actually he was a teenager at Coventry, because actually James Maddison, began his career at Coventry and all that, that's where he began his career. I think he also had a loan spell in Scotland with Aberdeen, but I think he did serve a couple of years in the Championship, with Norwich, and he did, really, really well. So I think he's a really, really good player. Like I said, he can create chances, he can score goals, he can provide. So I do believe, he would blend in our midfield very, very well. So he'd be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. Obviously, there was a lot of talks the other week, going on about Youri Tielemans from Leicester. Like I said, he did say, we had reignited our interest in James, in Youri Tielemans. Obviously, Youri Tielemans has had about 5 or 6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously, he was very impressive, throughout his loan spell with Leicester. Like I said, he had been on loan with them since January and all that. And obviously now he has returned to Monaco, because obviously his loan spell's come to an end with Leicester. But I think Youri Tielemans did confirm he will probably not be playing with Monaco next season. But quite a few teams have inquired about his services. Obviously, Tottenham have been in there. Obviously, it came out a couple of weeks ago saying that Manchester City, were in there for Youri Tielemans. But I think, due to his impressive performances throughout his loan spell with Leicester are now keen on getting him on a permanent deal. And I think Leicester, of course, have been in talks with Monaco about this. I think initially, Monaco rate Youri Tielemans around £40 million. So he is available for a reasonable figure. Like I said, quite a lot of people have said, we should be sensible over our recruitment this summer. But he's under contract with Monaco until 2022 and all that. But I think initially Leicester are orchestrating on, putting Youri Tielemans alongside James Maddison in their midfield as a part, them partnering up, because obviously, Leicester probably feel as though they'll blend in very, very well together. They'll complement each other, really, really well. So Leicester are probably, planning to put Youri Tielemans alongside James Maddison in their current midfield. But I think he's a box-to-box midfielder. He's Youri Tielemans mainly. I think he can also play him as an attacking midfield, and he is only 22 years of age. So I think also he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba and all that. Obviously as well, we have been in for West Ham's Declan Rice. I haven't spoken to you about Declan Rice for quite a while. Declan Rice is primarily a defensive midfielder. He can play as a centre back, but he is primarily a central defensive midfielder. Is Declan Rice. But I think it's very, very unlikely, that West Ham, will sell Declan Rice this summer. But he has been on our current agenda. Like I said, I like Declan Rice a lot. Obviously, he initially learned his trade in the Premier League. He's well Premier League proven. Obviously, he's been at West Ham, a number of years now. He's been in their senior squad, for quite a few years. But he flourished under Manuel Pellegrini's guidance last season. Obviously, that was only Manuel Pellegrini's first season last season with West Ham. But he is a really, really good player. Is Declan Rice. He is only 20 years of age. I think he's also very tall as well. Which is very, very beneficial. It did say if West Ham were willing to sell him, he'd probably, they'd probably sell him for around maybe 50 or 60 million pounds and all that. But I think we need a holding midfielder, because, like I said, Matic isn't good enough. He's too inconsistent. He's aging up. I've got strong reservations about him, as you all know, and he's just potentially too inconsistent. For learning left back in January, we've got McTominay, but like I said, we're McTominay. He's too inexperienced at the moment. He's Scott McTominay. So I think we do need a holding midfield. And don't get me wrong, Declan Rice definitely would be the right solution. He's energetic. His movement's really, really good. He's really, really good at breaking up the play. So I think he'd have all the attributes to come and succeed at Manchester United. But I don't think West Ham are willing to sell Declan Rice this summer. But like I said, so many midfielders on our current agenda, but hopefully it's going to be Bruno Fernandes that's currently going to be coming in. Like I said. But I expect probably around 3 or 4 players to leave Manchester United this summer. Maybe 5 may leave at the top. Like I said, probably all the players that want to leave. We're not going to be able to address this problem in one window, and all that's going to take a couple of windows, to resolve that problem. But I think who's going to be leaving? I think Darmian's definitely going to be leaving. I think Rojo's definitely going to be leaving. So I think we can generate around £25-30 million, for their departures. Because obviously both players have endured difficult times at Manchester United. Obviously, Mario Darmian and Marcus Rojo. We know Valencia's leaving. Obviously, we know Herrera's, currently leaving. With Sanchez, not too sure about Alexis Sanchez, to be quite honest with you, because obviously we are struggling, to offload Alexis Sanchez. And the reason why we are struggling to offload him, because obviously, based on his substantial wages, obviously, Sanchez is on 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to around 500 grand a week, based on the image rights and the bonuses and all that. And his wages are having a really, really bad effect on the football club. So like I said, it's going to be hard for us to get rid of him permanently, especially reflecting on his substantial wages. So Sanchez could continue applying his trade with Manchester United, going on into next season. I hope not, because he's one of the problematic players at the club. Obviously, he's been here since January 2018. Obviously, we got him as part of the swap deal with Mkhitaryan and all that. But Sanchez has not been the fundamental player as we all thought him he currently would have been, and he hasn't exceeded expectations levels as we all thought he would have done, because he did have 4 good years with Arsenal. He also, played under Pep Guardiola's guidance, when he was younger at Barcelona. He did really, really well then, and he just, hasn't replicated this form at Manchester United as Sanchez. He doesn't have a future at the club anyway. He is 30. He has lost that yard of pace and all. But I know he hasn't really been first choice. But when we've mainly played Sanchez, we have put him on that left hand side and all that. And I think when he was at Arsenal, the majority of his goals, came up front and all that. But I think he's also become injury prone since he's come to Manchester United. He sustained quite a lot of injuries, last season and all that. But I think we've definitely, somewhere online got to get rid of him. But I don't think anyone can afford him, based on his substantial wages. So I think we've definitely got to get rid of him. Well, Lukaku, it's looking like he's going to be leaving the club. He's Romelu Lukaku. This is very, very good news, because he's one of the problematic players at Manchester United and all that. I think we want around £75 million for him. So basically, we're looking to recoup the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago and all that. But I don't think Inter Milan, can generate enough funds, to meet that £75 million valuation. So the fee is problematic for Inter Milan. But we do know he's been heavily linked to move to Inter Milan. Obviously, Lukaku's confirmed, he does want to make the move to Inter Milan. Obviously, Antonio Conte has identified Lukaku as his number one target and all. And Lukaku, recently, described, Antonio Conte as one of the best managers in the world. So basically, Lukaku wants to play. Obviously, he's eager, to play under Antonio Conte's guidance, because probably believes he'll flourish under Antonio Conte's guidance. But reflecting back a couple of years ago when Conte was manager of Chelsea, obviously, at that point, he wanted Romelu Lukaku, but obviously, he ended up making the move to Manchester United. But I do believe, like he said, everything's been agreed, with Inter Milan and Romelu Lukaku. Everything has been, currently agreed, except the fee. I think Inter Milan have agreed the personal terms with him. I think he's allegedly agreed around a 5-year deal, so he'll be under contract with them until 2024. And I think he's agreed a deal with them worth around £180,000 a week. But I still believe Inter Milan are negotiating a fee with Manchester United and all that. But like I said, Lukaku's been at the club a couple of years, and he's scored 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions. And like I said, his ratio's still good. His pedigree's very, very good in the Premier League, because he's scored a hell of a lot of goals in the Premier League. But I have got strong reservations about him. But he's been here a couple of years. Like I said, 42 goals in 96 games and all that. He did well in his first season, did Lukaku, but didn't replicate this in his second season, because he enjoyed a difficult second season with the club, because now he's initially lost his place in the team. We do know that Marcus Rashford is first choice ahead of him, and obviously Lukaku is reluctant to play a backup role to Marcus Rashford. But Lukaku has still got 3 years left on his contract, and I think take home he's on about £250,000 a week with Manchester United. But actually, I was reading reports yesterday, and they were basically saying, that Inter Milan, have reportedly, offered us Mario Icardi in exchange for Romelu Lukaku. And I think Manchester United are considering, signing Mario Icardi, obviously as part of a deal, which would see, Lukaku go to Inter Milan, and obviously, Icardi, come to Manchester United. Because I think actually Inter Milan, want to offload Mario Icardi, because Inter Milan have increasingly, become frustrated with him. Obviously, he did lose the captaincy, back in February and all that. But yeah, I'd like to see Mario Icardi, come to Manchester United. I think it would definitely, succeed at Manchester United and all that. And I think, he's had six good years with Inter Milan, and his stats are very, very impressive. He scores goals a lot. Obviously, I think for Inter Milan, he must have made about 188 appearances. I think he scored about 111 goals. So his stats are very, very impressive. Like I said, he's been at Inter Milan 6 years. He is 26 years of age. So obviously, he's more or less the same age as Romelu Lukaku, because I think Romelu Lukaku is around 26. I don't know who's older, like I said, but they are both the same age.
But yeah, very, very good player, Icardi. He can lead the lines. He's not too bad in the air either. But, I have still got some reservations about Mario Icardi. When it comes to his defensive abilities, I've got concerns. Some of his touches and that concern me. But the good thing is, he has got that endless potential. He can score goals and all that. So yeah, I'd like to see, Mario Icardi, coming. He has still got a hell of a lot of development in him. And I think he's also, Inter Milan's ninth highest top goal scorer of all time. I think recently, actually, I think he's been linked to a move to Juventus as Mario Icardi. There's been talks about him, going there. What Icardi wants to do, I do not know. Whether he wants to stay in Milan, whether he wants to go to Juventus or not, I do not know. But I think we are considering, bringing Icardi in as part of a deal, which would see, Lukaku make the move to Inter Milan, because that was a problem last season. Wasn't scoring enough goals, wasn't ruthless enough in front of a goal and all that. And I think, a player like Mario Icardi's caliber, would bring us them goals that we do currently need. Even though he hasn't played in the Premier League as yet, but his statistics, are very, very impressive. I also said that Inter Milan had offered us Ivan Perisic as part of the deal for Romelu Lukaku, plus they offered us cash. But again, we turned this down because obviously Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target and all that. He was a long-term target under Mourinho, but he's no longer now a Manchester United target. So yeah, I hope somewhere along the line, we can, get rid of Romelu Lukaku, because like I said, he's one of the problematic players now at Manchester United. Obviously, I give you the latest news, didn't I, about Jadon Sancho yesterday from Borussia Dortmund and all that, and obviously, back in January, he was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's top priority target, and he was our number one target for quite a long time. Was Jadon Sancho. Obviously, it did say we was even willing to pay that £100 million valuation, because obviously this is what Borussia Dortmund were demanding and all that. But obviously it was coming out from Forbes yesterday, and then obviously more things reported about it. Saying that we could reignite our interest in Jadon Sancho on one condition, and that is if Paul Pogba leaves Manchester United this summer, which I think is expected to happen anyway, like I said. And I think the club are basically orchestrating on generating the funds from Paul Pogba's departure and all that, and then putting them funds on Jadon Sancho. Well, we thought Jadon Sancho, we basically thought our hopes of bringing Jadon Sancho, would have come to an end, this summer, based on our, failure, to qualify for the Champions League for next season. And obviously, a player of Jadon Sancho's calibre, wants to be in a Champions League football, you would presume. But I think, he was one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's top priority targets, because I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, liked the prospect, of linking Jadon Sancho up, the likes of Martial and Rashford and all that. And I think, he would have blended in, fantastically well in our attacking line. But I think probably Jadon Sancho will remain at Borussia Dortmund at least for another season and all that. So I don't see him, making the move to Manchester United. I think he's initially now valued at least at around £70 million and all that. But I do like him a lot. He's the obvious candidate for the win. I think he can also play essentially, but I think Jadon Sancho is primarily a winner. He is only 19 years of age. He's still got a hell of a lot of development in him. He has been at Borussia Dortmund a couple of seasons. Obviously, I don't think he'll be intending on spending the rest of his career, Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, at some point, he's going to want to rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career to the next level and all that. But I think if Jadon Sancho, was to make a return back to the Premier League, I think, it would create a better platform for him. I think it would help him with his developing process and all that. Because obviously, he's had experience of playing in the Premier League, and obviously as well, he's had experience of playing in Manchester, because he did serve a couple of years with Manchester City. He never got into Manchester City's first team, and I think, City couldn't guarantee him first team football, regularly. So this is the main factor reason why he did leave Manchester City, and of course went to Borussia Dortmund. I think Borussia Dortmund, paid around £7 or £8 million for his services, so they got him for next to now. And, he's flourishing very, very well, with Borussia Dortmund. He is on the contract with them until 2022, but he's got immense talent. He can score goals, he can provide, and, he's the type of player, that Manchester United do need. But I don't see him, coming in this summer, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Obviously, I give you the news, didn't I, yesterday about Nicolas Pepe from Lille. Now, it did say, Manchester United are back in for Nicolas Pepe. I probably think, again, probably a player of Nicolas Pepe's calibre, probably wants to be in a Champions League football and all that. So I think, Arsenal believe now they're not going to get a deal over the line for him, because I think, what Lille are demanding, I think it's put Arsenal off. So I think actually now Arsenal are no longer in for Nicolas Pepe and all that. because obviously, Arsenal, obviously, not in a Champions League football for next season. Like I said, we're back in for him now. Obviously, Liverpool have inquired about his services. I think now Inter Milan and Atletico Madrid are in there for him. I think he did get reported that Inter Milan had lodged a bid of around, was it £60 million for Nicolas Pepe. Also, Bayern Munich have been in for him. But yeah, so many teams have inquired about his services, because we know Nicolas Pepe is going to be leaving Lille, because the Lille chairman had made the admission, was it about 6 weeks ago now, saying, that Nicolas Pepe will be leaving Lille and all that. But it still remains fully uncertain, where he will be applying his trade next season and all that. But I do like him a lot. He's the obvious candidate for the right win for Manchester United. Obviously, he has been at Lille a couple of seasons. I think he scored 37 goals in 79 appearances for them. And yeah, very, very good player. And last season, he was the revelation for Lille. I think he scored about 22 goals and provided them 11 assists. He is only had 24 years of age. I think he's under contract with Lille until 2022 and all that. And I think, so far he has spent the entirety of his career in France. And obviously, if he came to the Premier League, it would be the next step for him. It would rejuvenate his career and all that. But yeah, very, very good player indeed. Can score goals, can provide, can create chances and all that. Very, very good on and off the ball, quick on the ball as well. So I think he'd have all the attributes, to definitely, come and succeed in the Premier League. But I think, from Nicolas Pepe's perspective, preference, I think he's keen on the move to PSG and all that, because I think also, PSG have inquired about his service. Because obviously, if Neymar goes, obviously PSG are going to want a current replacement for him and all that. But I think, it was Duncan Castles that broke out the stories about Nicolas Pepe and all that. I think he came out about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Duncan Castles, obviously, journalist, like I said, and he, said, Manchester United and Liverpool had made initial contact, with Lille over the potential move and all that. Obviously, Liverpool had been in talks with Nicolas Pepe's agent and all that. But I think if maybe he may go to Liverpool, Nicolas Pepe. I don't see him coming to Manchester United, from my own opinion. I think he'll probably either go to Liverpool or PSG. But also, obviously, Inter Milan and Atletico Madrid are now in there for him. I do believe Lille do value, Nicolas Pepe at around £70 million. So I do believe this is what they would want if they, of course, if they are willing to offload him and all that. But I do like Nicolas Pepe. And he's looking at, like I said, he's the obvious candidate for the right win. But yeah, that's mainly everything to update you with. And we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wants to build a squad, worthy of the club's mystery and all that. But I do believe our expectations, probably, going on into next season, going on into, this season, should I say, probably will be to finish in the top 4. I don't think our expectations, will be to win the league or challenger for the league and all that. Because I think we're at least a couple of years off, currently doing that. And like I said, at the moment, City is strides ahead of us, Liverpool, of course, are strides ahead of us. But like I did say, we have been playing catch-up for the last 5 or 6 years, because we've been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years, since obviously, Alex Ferguson retired. Obviously, we've had, different managers with different philosophies. A hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club and all that. Hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club. Players have come in, and of course, players have gone and all that. So basically, looking at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding. But like I said, I hope it works out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like I said, he was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. Hasn't really got the experience of a manager. That's one thing that does currently concern me. But I hope he's got the the stature, to get us in that commanding position, of course, where we do currently want to be. But I don't think we'll be challenging for the league next season. Like I said, because I said City strides ahead of us, Liverpool strides ahead of us, and like I said, it's very imperative, like we catch up with likes Manchester City and Liverpool and all that. But Solskjaer wants to recommend young players to Manchester United this summer, that can grow, develop and emulate into superstars. And I think, yeah, like I said, we are moving away from the policy, of signing them well-established players. But Solskjaer wants to bring 5 new additions to the squad, like I currently said. Looking like the Wan-Bissaka is going to be the current second signing, which I'm very, very happy about. Obviously, fullbacks have gone for £50 million in the past. We saw it a couple of years ago, with Kyle Walker. He went to Manchester City, for around £50 million. But yeah, Wan-Bissaka transfer, should be completed, definitely sometime this week. So basically, that's all the news to give you an update on. But I wanted to give you an update on what's going on with Adrian Rabiot. Like I said, he's going to be, he's I think within the next 24 hours, he's going to be agreeing a move to Juventus and all that, as this got confirmed yesterday. So I do presume he'll probably complete his move to Juventus maybe today or maybe sometime tomorrow. But it will be, I do presume it will be sometime today. He will complete his move to Juventus. So I'm frustrated about that, because we have missed out on quite a few targets. We've missed out on Delay. Now we've missed out out on Adrian Rabiot. Like updated you about Harry Maguire. It also looks like we've missed out on him as well. So that's not, looking very, very good. But the positive is looking like we're getting Pasaka in, and I know hopefully after that, we can get a deal finalised for Bruno Fernandes. Even on now, we're not willing to meet that £70 million that Sporting has been currently demanding. So anyway, guys, drop your comments below on the channel. If you do consider a subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.